Alright, so got something special today. I didn't realize that this actually existed. This is the enhanced edition of the 1999 role-playing game Planescape Torment. So it's all set up to run on modern systems. The graphics and the frame rate are flexible. You can scale it up. You know, back then the resolutions were super tiny. And yeah, I just didn't realize that this existed until today, so I immediately got it because I played the original Planescape Torment, God, I want to say back in like 2006, about 11 years ago or so. And it's, you know, it could be the nostalgia talking, but it was honestly my favorite game that I've ever played. It was one of the first games that I really played that had like the narrative decision-making depth that's become somewhat popular in RPGs nowadays, you know, where you sort of choose your own path. But this game, it did it super well way back in the late 90s, and it was just extremely well written, just very interesting all around. I'll wax eloquent about it some more as we go through, but first I'll play the opening movie, I suppose. Alright, so there's that, and let's go ahead and dive right in. So was one of those games, I believe Black Isle Studios originally did this, along with Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale back in that era, late 90s, early 2000s, based on Dungeons & Dragons 2nd edition, I believe. And so we're going to pick our attributes. These are standard D&D attributes, and because I want to be able to interact with the world in a meaningful way, I'm going to just try to focus exclusively on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma, to the expense of my physical attributes, which may end up getting me killed more, we'll see. But yeah, and the guy that we saw on being hauled into that slab at the beginning, that's the character who we're playing as.
Hey, Chief. You okay? You playing corpse or you putting the blinds on the dusties? I thought you were a deader for sure.
Who are you? Who am I? How about you start? Who are you? I'll say, I don't know, I can't remember. You can't remember your name? Well, next time you spend a night in this burg, go easy on the bub. Name's Morte, I'm trapped in here too. Trapped? Yeah, since you haven't had time to get your legs yet, here's the chant. I've tried all the doors, and this room is locked tighter than a chastity belt. We're locked in where? What is this place? It's called the Mortuary. It's a big black structure with all the architectural charm of a pregnant spider. The Mortuary? What? Am I dead? Not from where I'm standing. You've got scars aplenty, though. Looks like some Burke painted you with a knife. All the more reason to give this place the laugh before whoever carved you up comes back to finish the job. Scars? How bad are they? Well, The carvings on your chest aren't too bad, but the ones on your back... Morte pauses. Say, it looks like you've got a whole tattoo gallery on your back, Chief. Spells out something. Tattoos on my back? What do they say? Heh, looks like you come with directions. Morte clears his throat. Let's see, it starts with... I know you feel like you've been drinking for a few kegs of Styx Wash, but you need to center yourselves. Among your possessions is a journal that'll shed some light on the dark of the matter. Farod can fill you in on the rest of the chant, if he's not in the dead book already. Farod. Does it say anything else? Yeah, there's a bit more. Morte pauses. Let's see, it goes on. Don't lose the journal or we'll be up the sticks again, and whatever you do, do not tell anyone who you are or what happens to you, or they'll put you on a quick pilgrimage to the crematorium. Do what I tell you. Read the journal, then find Farod. No wonder my back hurts. There's a damn novel written there. As for that journal I'm supposed to have with me, was there one with me while I was lying here? No, you were stripped to the skins when you arrived here. Besides, looks like you got enough of a journal penned on your body. What about Farod? Do you know him? Nobody I know, but then again, I don't know many people. Still, some Burke's gotta know where to find Farod. Once we get out of here, that is. How do we get out of here? Well, all the doors are locked, so we'll need the key. Chances are one of the walking corpses in this room has it. Walking corpses? Yeah, the mortuary keepers use dead bodies as cheap labor. The corpses are dumb as stones, but they're harmless and won't attack unless you attack first. So I should attack one of these corpses and loot it for the key? Well, before you do that, arm yourself first. I think there's a scalpel on one of these shelves around here. Alright, I'll look for one. One last thing, the corpses are slow as molasses, but getting punched by one of them is like being kissed by a battering ram. If they start getting an edge on you, remember you can run and they can't. Use it to keep some distance if you need to recover. Alright, thanks for the advice. So the setting for this game is based on... Let's loot some of these bandages. The 2nd edition Dungeons & Dragons campaign setting of Planescape. There's a scalpel. Alright, you found the scalpel. Now get to those corpses, and don't worry, I'll stay back and provide valuable tactical advice. Maybe you could help me, Morte. I will be helping you. Good advice is hard to come by. I mean help in attacking the corpse. Me? I'm a romantic, not a soldier. I'd just get in the way. When I attack this corpse, you better be right there with me, or the next thing I'll plunge this scalpel in is going to be you. Alright, I'll help you. Glad we understand each other. Time to introduce these corpses to the second death, then. Let's go. So, this setting is... It's kind of steampunky, but kind of not. I guess I would say it's steampunk-esque. Very Victorian sort of language getting thrown around, which is a little bit unusual to try to say stuff like Burke, but I'll get the hang of it. Let's see, we'll examine one of the zombies. This shambling corpse looks like it's been dead for several years. The skin along its forehead is peeled back, revealing its chalk-white skull. Someone has chiseled the number 569 into the exposed bone. Let's examine the corpse and see if it's carrying a key. This corpse doesn't appear to be carrying a key, and it doesn't look like it would be able to use one if it did. Its fingers are broken, as if someone smashed them with a hammer. You do happen to notice that the left shoulder is heavily bandaged. The bandages might be usable if the corpse were disposed of first. Alright, let's examine the other ones. This corpse is carrying nothing, but you happen to notice its hands are heavily bandaged. Alright, we don't think we need any bandages. For right now, anyway. This corpse looks like the one with the key. It is holding it tightly in its left hand, its thumb and forefinger locked around it in a death grip. It looks like you'll need to hack the corpse's hand off to free the key. I'll need that key, corpse. Looks like you're not long for this world.
Okay.
I'm gone.
Alright, we got the key. So I'll zoom in a little bit. You know, you can see our character there.
Yeah, sure.
Our buddy Morte that came up and talked to us is a floating skull that can talk, apparently.
I'm gone. Done.
Let's examine these other things real quick, see if there's any more loot. Alright. I thought I got the key. Maybe it unlocks a different door. There we go. Psst, some advice, Chief. I'd keep it quiet from here on. No need to put any more corpses in the dead book than necessary, especially the femmes. Plus, killing them might draw the caretakers here. I don't think you mentioned it before. Who are these caretakers? They call themselves the Dustmen. You can't miss them. They have an obsession with black and rigor mortis of the face. They're an adult bunch of ghoulish death worshippers. They believe everything should die, sooner than later. I'm confused. Why do these Dustmen care if I escape? Weren't you listening? I said the Dusties believe everybody's gotta die, sooner better than later. You think the corpses you've seen are happier in the dead book than out of it? The corpses I've seen here, where do they all come from? Death visits the plains every day, Chief. The Shamblers are all that's left of the poor sods who sold their bodies to the caretakers after death. Before he said something about making sure I didn't kill any female corpses. Why? What? Are you serious? Look, Chief, these dead chits are the last chance we got for a couple of hardy bashers like us. We need to be chivalrous. No hacking them up for keys, no lopping their limbs off, things like that. Last chance? What are you talking about? Chief, they're dead. We're dead. See where I'm going? Hey? You can't be serious. Chief, we've already got an opening line with these limping ladies. We all died at least once. We'll have something to talk about. They'll appreciate men with our kind of death experience. Wait, didn't you say before that I'm not dead? Well, alright, you might not be dead, but I am. And from where I'm standing, I wouldn't mind sharing a coffin with some of these fine, sinewy cadavers I see here. Morte starts clacking his teeth as if in anticipation. Of course, the caretakers will have to part with them first, and that's not likely. Alright, I'll try to remember that. Look, Chief, it's obvious you're still a little addled after your kiss with death, so I got 2 bits of advice for you. 1, if you've got questions, ask me, alright? Alright, if I have any questions, I'll ask you. 2nd, if you're half as forgetful as you seem to be, start writing stuff down. Whenever you come across something that might be important, jot it down so you don't forget. If I had that journal I was supposed to have with me, I'd do that. Start a new one then, Chief. No loss. There's plenty of parchment and ink around here to last you. Alright. Couldn't hurt to make a new one then. Use it to keep track of your movements. If you ever start to get cloudy on important things like who you are, or more importantly, who I am, use it to refresh your memory.
Updated my journal.
Let's go. The famous updated my journal. That line gets uttered a lot throughout this game. So we can see in our journal we have some quests. Find Fairrod, the guy that's mentioned in the carvings on the back, and find the missing journal. Okay, cool. There's entries for beasts as well, I guess. Morte is a talking skull. His sole weapon seems to be his mouth, whether by taunting or biting. He seems to be along for the ride, whether you want him around or not. You are somewhat curious as to how he is able to float around. And then the main character, Nameless One. You are nameless. You awoke on a slab in the mortuary and sigil, covered in scars and tattoos, your memory gone. Who has done this to you and why? You don't know yet, but you're going to find out. There's a logbook. Money, fist irons. Let's see, what does the logbook have to say? This huge logbook lists mortuary procedures in a tight, crabbed script. All shells entering the mortuary are to be delivered to the receiving room and logged with the scribe on duty before being embalmed or cremated. The records are to be checked to determine if the shell is one of the contracted, and if so, do not prepare the shell. Move the shell to one of the preparation rooms, contact the scribe on duty, and notify him that the contracted shell is to be raised. Be certain that a shell is thoroughly stripped of its possessions before being sent to the preparation rooms. The contracted workers are intended for simple manual labor and do not have the capacity to search and strip a shell. The faction is not responsible for any possessions lost or items stolen by collectors who have brought the shells to the mortuary. The shell's possessions are to be stored in the receiving room until an initiate can be sent to claim them. Please catalog all possessions in the logbook. Following this list is thousands of entries of bodies that have been sent to the receiving room. As you flip through the rest of the book, however, you notice that the last page has been cut out. That seems a mite suspicious. Ooh, wait. We didn't examine that big book over there. Oh, there's a guy in front of it. Doll. This scribe looks very old. His skin is wrinkled, and has a slight trace of yellow, like old parchment. Charcoal gray eyes lie within the angular face, and a large white beard flows down in front of his robes like a waterfall. His breathing is ragged and irregular, but even his occasional coughing does not slow the scratching of his quill pen. Greetings. Morte says, "Whoa, Chief, what are you doing?" Well, I was going to speak to the scribe. He might know something about how I got here. Look, rattling your bone box with Dusty should be the last thing... Before Morty can finish his rant, the scribe begins coughing violently. After a moment or two, the coughing spell dies down, and the scribe's breathing resumes to its ragged wheeze. Morte says, and we especially shouldn't be swapping the chant with sick Dusties. Come on, let's leave. The quicker we get out of this place, the Before Morty can finish, the scribe... I'm going to call him Morty. The scribe's gray eyes flicker to you. The weight of years hangs heavy upon me, restless one. He places down his quill. But I do not yet count deafness among my ailments. Restless one, do you know me? Know you, There is a trace of bitterness in the scribe's voice as he speaks. I have never known you, restless one, no more than you have known yourself. He is silent for a moment. For you have forgotten, have you not? Who are you? As always, the question, and the wrong question as always. He bows slightly, but the movement suddenly sends him into a bout of coughing. He pauses for a moment, catches his breath. I am Dahl. Perhaps you can answer some questions for me, Dahl. Very well, what do you wish to know? How did I get here? Dahl snorts in contempt, as if he finds the memory repugnant. Your moldy chariot ferried you to the mortuary, restless one. You would think you were royalty based upon the number of loyal subjects that lay stinking and festering upon that cart that carried you. I arrived here on a cart? Yes, your body was somewhere in the middle of the heap, sharing its fluids with the rest of the mountain of corpses. Dahl breaks into another violent fit of coughing, finally catching his breath minutes later. Your seneschal, Farod, was, as always, pleased to accept a few moldy coppers to dump the lot of you at the mortuary gate. Who is this Farod? He is a collector of the dead. Dahl draws a ragged breath, then continues. We have such people in our city that scavenge the bodies of those that have walked the path of the true death and bring them to us so that they may be interred properly. Where can I find this Farod? If events persist as they have, Restless One, you have a much greater chance of Farod finding you and bringing you to us again before you find whatever ooze puddle he wallows in this time. Nevertheless, I must find him. A slight warning creeps into Dahl's tone. Do not seek out Farod, Restless One. I am certain that it will simply come full circle again, with you none the wiser and Farod a few coppers richer. Accept death, Restless One. Do not perpetuate your cycle of misery. I have to find him. Do you know where he is? Dahl is silent for a moment. When he finally speaks, he seems to do so reluctantly. I do not know under which gutterstone Farod lairs at the moment, but I imagine that he can be found somewhere beyond the mortuary gates in the hive. Perhaps someone there will know where you can find him. It doesn't sound like you like Farod very much. There are some I respect, Restless One. Dahl takes a ragged breath and steadies himself. Farod is not one of them. He wears his ill repute like a badge of honor, and takes liberties with the possessions of the dead. He is a knight of the post, cross-trading filth of the lowest sort. Knight of the post? A knight of the post, Dahl coughs, a thief. All Farod brings to our walls comes stripped of a little less of their dignity than they possessed in life. Farod takes whatever he may pry from their stiffening fingers. Did this Farod take anything from me? Dahl pauses, considering. Most likely. Are you missing anything, especially anything of value? His voice dips as he frowns. Not that Farod would have taken exception to anything that wasn't physically grafted to your body, and sometimes even that's not enough to give his greedy mind pause. I am missing a journal. A journal? If it was of any value, then it likely lies in Farod's hands. Where can I find him? Okay, we're repeating some lines here. Tell me about the mortuary. This is where the dead are brought to be interred or cremated. It is our responsibility as dustmen to take care of the dead, those who have left this shadow of life and walked the path of true death. Dahl's voice drops in concern. Your wounds must have exacted a heavy toll if you do not recognize this place. It is almost your home. True death. True death is non-existence, a state devoid of reason, sensation, of passion. Dahl coughs, then gives a ragged breath, a state of purity. Sounds like oblivion. Why would anyone want that? Is it worse than remaining in this shadow of what life once was? I think not. Shadow of life? Yes, a shadow. You see, Restless One, this life, it is not real. Your life, my life, they are shadows, flickerings of what life once was. This life is where we end up after we die. And here we remain, trapped, caged, until we can achieve true death. What makes you think this life isn't real? What makes you think this life is real? Look inside yourself. Do you not feel something lacking? Dahl shakes his head. This is a purgatory. There is only sorrow here, misery, torment. These are not the elements that make up life. They are part of the cage that traps us in this shadow. I think your fatalism has gotten the better of you. Those elements are part of life, but not the whole of it. Dahl shakes his head. Passions carry weight. They anchor many to this shadow of life. As long as one clings to emotion, they will be continually reborn into this life, forever suffering, never knowing the purity of true death. I see. How does one escape the cycle of rebirth and achieve this true death? Kill your passions. Strip yourself of the need for sensation. When you are truly cleansed, then the cycle of rebirth will end and you will achieve peace. Dahl sighs. It sounds like a death rattle in his throat. Past these shells of ours, past the eternal boundary, lies the peace that all souls seek. The eternal boundary? The boundary between the shadow of this life and the true death. Let's see. Tell me more about the mortuary. Yeah, let's ask him about the Dustmen. We Dustmen are a faction, a gathering of those of us that recognize the illusion of this life. We await the next life and help others on their journey. Perhaps you can help explain why the Dustmen want me dead. Dahl sighs. It is said that there are souls who can never attain the true death. Death has forsaken them, and their names shall never be penned in the dead book. To awake from death as you have done suggests you are one of these souls. Your existence is unacceptable to our faction. Unacceptable? That doesn't sound like it leaves me in a good position. You must understand, your existence is a blasphemy to them. Many of our faction would order you cremated if they were aware of your affliction. Well, you're a Dustman, but you don't seem to be in favor of killing me. Why not? Because forcing our beliefs upon you is not just. You must give up this shadow of life on your own, not because we force you to. Dahl looks about to break into another coughing jag, but he manages to hold it in with some effort. As long as I remain at my post, I will protect your right to search for your own truth. Very well, I had some other questions. Can you tell me how to get out of here? The front gate is the most obvious exit, but they will not let anyone other than Dustmen pass. Dahl breaks into a ragged cough, then continues. One of the guides by the front gate has the key to it, but it is unlikely he will open it for you unless you are extremely persuasive. I see. Let's see if we can ask him anything else. You sound ill. Are you not well? I am close now to the true death, Restless One. It will not be long before I pass beyond the eternal boundary and find the peace I have been seeking. I tire of this mortal sphere. Dahl gives a ragged sigh. The plains hold no more wonders for one such as I. Are you certain? There might be some way I could help you. I do not wish to live forever nor live again, Restless One. I could not bear it. Very well, let's see. Other questions. What does he do here? He's standing in front of this... He's seated in front of this gigantic book. I am a scribe, a cataloger of all the shells that come to the mortuary. Dahl coughs again, then takes a deep breath. As long as the stream of corpses flows through the mortuary, I shall remain at my post. Let's see, anything else we can ask him?
Updated my journal.
Do you know who I am? I know scant little of you, Restless One. I know little more of those that have journeyed with you, and who now lie in our keeping. Dahl sighs. I ask that you no longer ask others to join you with you, Restless One. Where you walk, so walks misery. Let your burden be your own. There are others who have journeyed with me, and they are here?
My journal.
Do you not know the woman's corpse interred in the memorial hall below? I had thought that she had traveled with you in the past. Dahl looks like he is about to start coughing again, then catches his breath. Am I mistaken? Where is her body? The Northwest Memorial Hall on the first floor below us. Check the biers there. Her name should be on one of the memorial plaques. Mayhap that will help revive your memory. You said there were others. Who else is here? Doubtless there are, but I know not their names nor where they lie. One such as you has left a path many have walked and few have survived. Dahl gestures around you. All dead come here. Some must have traveled with you once. Okay, I will look for them then. Mayhap they can spark my memory. Farewell. As you turn to leave, Dahl speaks. Know this, I do not envy you, Restless One. To be reborn as you would be a curse that I could not bear. You must come to terms with it. At some point, your path will return you here. Dahl coughs, the sound rattling in his throat. It is the way of all things, flesh and bone. Then perhaps we will meet again. So, our protagonist character here, the nameless one, has apparently died many times in the past and does not stay dead. Okay, let's see. Is there a way to get down to the first floor? I guess we should probably explore the remainder of this place first. Have some more bandages. Let's see. Zombies. Let's talk to Iveen. You see a slight young woman with pale features. The sunken flesh around her cheeks and neck makes her appear as if she is starving. She seems intent on dissecting the corpse in front of her, prodding the chest with a finger. Greetings. The woman does not respond. She seems too intent on the body in front of her. As you watch her work, you suddenly notice her hands. Her fingers are talons. They are darting in and out of the corpse's chest cavity like knives, removing organs. What's wrong with your hands? The woman makes no response.
My journal.
Morte says, she's a tiefling, chief. They got fiend blood in their veins, usually because some ancestor of theirs shared knickers with one demon or another. Makes some of them addled in the head, and addled looking, too. Let's tap the woman to get her attention. The woman jumps and whips around to face you. Her eyes are a rotting yellow with small orange dots for pupils. As she sees you, her expression changes from surprise to irritation, and she frowns at you. Greetings. She doesn't seem to have heard you. She leans forward, squinting, as if she can't quite make you out. Whatever is wrong with her eyes must make her terribly nearsighted. You, she clacks her taloned fingers together, then makes a strange motion with her hands. Find thread and embalming juice. Bring here to Iveen. Go, go, go. We've been assigned a quest.
Updated my journal.
Thread and embalming juice. Alright. Sure, let's help her out. So the Planescape setting in 2nd edition D&D, which is where we're at, it's basically... It takes place in this city called Sigil, which is like basically the confluence of like all possible planes of existence, or I guess you could say dimensions, whatever, you know, works for you, planes, dimensions. So like there's demons, there's angels, there's like, okay, this container is locked. Can we force it?
Forced it.
All right. There's all sorts of crazy shit here, and people like arrive here without knowing how they get here, and all kinds of, and there's like portals and stuff like that. It's really far out.
Failed.
Shit, I need a key for that door.
Failed.
Yeah, let's go up the stairs, see what we can find.
All right.
So it's just, you know, that alone just makes it such a interesting campaign setting, in my opinion. Uh-oh. That guy wants to talk to us. There's needle and thread. What happens when we talk to him? Let's find out. The dustman regards you with a stony gaze. Are you lost? Yes. I will summon a guard to direct you out. Hold a moment. Let's leave, quickly. The dustman takes a step back, then claps his hands together sharply 3 times. In response, a great iron bell starts tolling throughout the mortuary. Alright then. Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to see what would happen. I'm not actually interested in doing that.
I'm gone.
We'll just ignore him. Just run away.
Forced it.
Okay. Dustman request. Iron pry bar. I'm gonna have to go through my inventory here before too long and sort of see what all's going on. Ooh, Mortuary Sanctum Key. That could be useful. It's just dodging all these dustmen. Just run away. Was that an axe? Oh, a hammer. Nice. Alright, let's go back downstairs. That seemed a little bit dicey. Yeah, I don't think all of the dustmen are going to be as understanding of our predicament as Dahl was. Dahl seems like a chill guy. He's like respecting other people who don't agree with his beliefs and stuff. Good on you, Dahl. Alright, let's go back to Iveen. Let's watch her and study the motions of her hands.
My journal.
As you study the motion of Iveen's hands, you feel a prickling along your scalp, and then suddenly you find your vision swimming, blurring, until you are standing in front of a freshly slain corpse, rigor mortis making a mockery of its smile. The number 42 has been stitched into its scalp. The zombie is lying on a slab, and you have just finished stitching up its chest. You have placed something inside, something that may prove useful if you come this way again. Echo, keep these things safe and wait for my return. The memory of your voice is an echo, strange and hollow to your ears. You cross your arms in front of your chest, and to your surprise the corpse does too. After a moment its hands fall back to its sides, and as it does the vision fades, until you are watching Iveen's hands make their stitching motions once more. So a zombie with a 42 carved into its head has something that we put in it during a past life that we can't remember. Alright, let's get Iveen's attention. But wait, I thought that we had thread and embalming fluid, right? Did I not take needle and thread? Whoops. Let's run back up and grab that. That must have been from where I talked to the dustman, then reloaded the game.
I'm gone.
Yeah, this game does sort of, because there's a quick save function, it does sort of like tempt you to, that's a furnace. I guess this is the crematorium. It does sort of tempt you to do a lot of saving and loading if you screw up. I'm going to try not to do too much of that, because it's kind of not in the spirit of like doing a playthrough, I guess. I mean, I will die, I'm sure. Like, I'll die in combat and stuff, but... I thought there was a needle and thread up here. There we go.
All right.
So we'll give this to her, then we'll try going back to down to the first floor that Dahl mentioned. Alright, she turns, sees you, then frowns. Dumb zombies. She clacks her talon fingers together impatiently, then makes a stitching motion with her fingers. Find thread and embalming fluid. Bring here to Iveen. Go.
Updated my journal.
Alright, we gave her the stuff. Without missing a beat, Iveen snaps the thread from your hands and hooks it around one of her talons, then begins sewing up the corpse's chest. She then takes the embalming fluid and begins to apply a layer to the corpse. Let's wait. Within minutes, she is finished. She clicks her talons, then turns to face you. To your surprise, she extends her hand and drags her talons along your arms and chest. It's not that I'm not flattered, but... Morte says, looks like you have a new friend, Chief. You two need some time together, or... keep playing zombie. As she traces your arms and chest, you suddenly notice she seems to be examining your scars. She withdraws her talons, clicks them twice, then bends forward and examines some of the tattoos on your chest. Humph. Who write on you? Hivers do that? No respect for zombies. Zombies, not paintings. She sniffs, then pokes one of your scars. This one is bad shape. Many scars. No preserves. Her talons suddenly hook into the thread you brought her, and lightning-like, she jabs another talon into the skin near one of your scars. It feels barely more than a pinprick, but it looks like she's about to start stitching you up. I will let her work.
Journal.
The sensation is curiously painless as Iveen begins to stitch up your scars. When she is done, she sniffs you, frowns, then stabs her finger into the embalming fluid. Within minutes, she has dabbed your body with the fluid, and strangely enough, it makes you feel better. Morte says, "This may be the second time in my life I'm thankful I don't have a nose." Iveen puts the last touches on your body, gives you another sniff, nods, and makes a shooing motion with her talons. Done. Go. Alright. Okay, this is zombie number 500 in Stitch. Oh, so we can cut... Okay, so what I did... Yeah, I just cut some of the stitches out there with the scalpel. You slice the thread neatly with the scalpel and then pluck out the needle and pull the stitches out. As you do, the skin covering the forehead peels back to reveal the corpse's chalk-white skull, where, to your surprise, the number 78 has been chiseled. Seems you've got two different designations there, corpse. The corpse stares straight ahead, oblivious. Okay, that one. Let's examine the zombies and see if we can find. So this one has stopped dead in its tracks. Judging from the condition of its left leg, it looks as if some sort of tomb rot or corpse mold has eaten through its knee. The corpse is wobbling unsteadily back and forth, trying to keep its balance. Let's try to help it find balance. You reach out for the corpse's left arm to help you steady it. As you grab its arm, however, the corpse suddenly sways to the right, and you end up tugging the corpse rather than steadying it. Morte says, Chief, you might not want... There's a crack from the corpse's left leg, and the body falls like a dead tree. Its torso strikes the stone flagstones and shatters like a rotten melon, filth and ichor gurgling from the cavity. To your surprise, no one seems to have noticed the corpse's collapse. And even stranger, the left leg remains standing where the body was, as if at attention. After a moment, the leg falls over with a wet thump. As you gaze upon the putrefied remains of the corpse, you notice that its left arm is still intact. It has snapped from its torso during the fall and doesn't appear to have been touched by the tomb rot that had spread through the rest of the body. I wonder if I can make use of that arm. Oh, don't tell me we can use that as a weapon. That's awesome. Hell yeah. Why not? Okay. Ooh. Okay, so this zombie has a bunch of books. The books appear to be old mortuary ledgers. None of them look of any particular interest. As you search through the text, however, you notice that a loose page is folded between two of the books. You are suddenly struck with the feeling that someone tucked it in there to hide it. Could that be the missing page of the book that we found? The page doesn't look like it belongs in the ledgers. It looks like it belongs in a log book. The tear is clean, as if with a knife, so you suspect the page was removed on purpose. Whoops, little mess up with my hotkeys there. You take a moment to read through the page. It's a list of dead bodies brought to the mortuary and logged in the receiving room. All the entries appear to be recent arrivals. Let's see, where's that page? 16537, 5th night. Drunk, chest wound, cause of death, mauling. Abishai, collector, pox, 3 commons paid, no possessions. 16538, 5th night. Desiccated corpse, cause of death indeterminable. Age of shell prevents identification. Collector, Feyrod, 3 commons paid, no possessions. Stripped, knife marks evident from dissection. So I think that's us. Maybe not. 539, 5th night, scarred shell, cause of death indeterminate. Scars do not appear to be cause of death. Shock trauma? Collector, Feyrod, 3 commons paid. Possessions logged, fist irons, 13 commons, middle table, receiving room. Alright, the next day. Desiccated corpse number 2, cause of death indeterminable. Age of shell prevents identification. Collector, Feyrod, 3 commons paid. Possessions logged, knife marks evident from the dissection, but the dissection was not thorough enough. Copper earrings found lodged in abdomen. Earring has been locked in southern preparation room. Have an initiate from the 3rd circle examine it. It has strange markings, like those on contracted worker number 79. 5th night, skeleton, cause of death indeterminable. Age of shell prevents identification. Collector, Feyrod, 3 commons paid, no possessions. As with the previous entries, these shells Farad has brought also show signs of having been prepared. I have asked that Initiate Emmerich launch an investigation into the matter. Furthermore, entry 16542 is one of Farad's gang. I've seen the individual before. I would ask Emmerich to pay heed to how the man died. 16542, 5th Night, Tiefling, male. Cause of death, slash marks, slash discoloration of wounds are consistent with grave rot. Ghoul claws? Collector, Farad, 3 commons paid, no possessions. Huh. Alright, let's find zombie number 42, and then that'll be a good cutoff point for this first episode. It's a female corpse. Morte. Psst. You see the way she was looking at me? Huh? You see that? The way she was following the curve of my occipital bone? What are you talking about? But are you blind? She was scouting me out. It was shameless the way she wanted me. I think you're imagining things. She's a zombie, a corpse, a dead person. You probably didn't even register to her senses. Yeah, whatever. When you've been dead for as long as I have, you know the signals. They may be too subtle for you to pick up on, but that's why I'll be spending my nights with some luscious, recently dead shit while you're out standing around going, huh? What's it going on? Where's my memories? Whatever, Morte, let's go. 1201. This one has a note stuck in its mouth. The note has mingled with the ichor from the zombie's mouth. If you tried to pull the paper out through the cross-stitchings, it would tear the paper to shreds. Hacking up the corpse to get at it looks like the only way to destroy looks like it will destroy the note. You'll need to find a delicate way to remove the stitches before removing the note. We can use the scalpel. We slice through it and get the note. Alright. Let's see, what does this note say? Note from Corpse 1201. This is a foul-smelling note retrieved from the mouth of one of the mortuary zombies. It looks like it was sewn into the corpse's mouth by accident. Despite its condition, the writing is legible. Please, to whatever dustman reads this, I beg of you, I know of my legal obligation under the terms of the dead contract, but I am prepared to offer more than my signing fee if you will cremate my body rather than raising it. I've arranged for this note to be left with my body upon my death. If you are reading this, then please use this note as instructed and accept the result in exchange for my contracted duty. Let my contract number serve as the key. It looks like the corpse was too late to prevent the raising, but you notice that beneath the writing is a diagram. It looks like directions for folding the parchment into a strange pattern. Sure, let's do that. This foul-smelling note has a strange-looking diagram inscribed beneath the writing. It looks as if it's instructing you to fold the corners of the note so that their points touch the center. There is a series of strange marks on each corner. 1 mark in the upper right, 2 marks on the lower left, 3 marks on the lower left, and no marks on the upper left. Okay. So 1 for the upper right, 2 for the lower left, and then 2 for the lower right, then 3 for the lower left. So let's do the upper right once to the center. And then 2 for the lower right and 3 for the lower left. So lower right, lower left. Okay. Let's think about this. This is some sort of puzzle or riddle. Let's start with the lower right. And there were 3 on the lower left. Let's do the lower left. And there was 1 on the upper right. So let's now do the one on the upper right. Why do we fold the upper left? Ah, come on. Okay, 1 upper right, 2 lower right, 3 lower left. Let's do the upper right, lower right, lower left. What am I not getting here? If that's the order, then that means that we do the upper right, then we do the lower right, then we do the lower left. So upper right, lower right, lower left. But now we can't do anything. Let's leave it alone. Oh my god, this is going to bug the shit out of me. One, two, three. Huh, that's weird. Alright. We'll think on that. Maybe look it up. Okay, Zombie 42, where are you at? I believe that's all the zombies in this room. The zombie has 965 tattooed on the side of its skull. As you approach, it halts and stares at you. Morte says, looks like somebody forgot to tell this sod to stop walking the rule of threes. What do you mean? These corpses don't have much left in the attic, so they can't do more than one task at a time. When they're told to do something, they'll keep doing it until someone tells them to stop. This poor sod probably finished some task and they forgot to tell him. You said something about the rule of threes. What do you mean by that? Yeah, well, the rule of threes is one of those laws about the planes, about things tending to happen in threes, or everything's composed of three parts, or there's always three choices, and so on and so forth. You don't sound like you hold much faith in it. It's a load of wash if you ask me. If you look for a number, any number, and try to attach some great meaning to it, you're going to find plenty of coincidences. I see. Before you said someone put this corpse to a task, then forgot to tell them to stop. Who gives these corpses the task to do? Either one of the caretakers here, or whatever necromancer raised them out of the dead book. Probably one of the caretakers here. They're the ones who need the cheap labor, after all. So it's walking in a triangle. Alright. Alright. Zombie number 42. Where's lucky number 42? It could be upstairs, too. Upstairs is a bit more dangerous because of all those dustmen running around, but we can outrun them. God, this place is grim. Yeah, let's check upstairs by the crematorium.
I'm gone.
Nah, let's not mess with these skeletons. Morte says, wonder if this Greybeard wouldn't mind if I borrowed his body. Greybeard? Greybeard, you know, geezer, old fellow. Yellow dog, old. Well, I don't think it's in any position to object. Why not take his body? Morte studies the skeleton for a moment, then shakes his head. Nah, I'd need a fresher one than this. And something with a little more dignity. This one's all creaky and fractured. And you're not? Oh, you're a sack full of laughs. Morte glances at you. Besides, you're one to talk, Burke. Mirrors beg for mercy when you're around. Oh yeah? Well, at least I have all my parts. Morte snorts. You're not quite sure how he managed it without lungs. Let me tell you, Morte, there's nothing more satisfying than walking around, swinging your arms, breathing the crisp air through your lungs. It's great to have a body. I'll have you know that helping you escape from the preparation room has now been added to my growing list of regrets. Morte snorts again. I should have left you to rot. Some more, that is. God, I love the dialogue in this game. Zombie number 475. There's a skeleton with a parchment in its skull. It looks as if its skull cavity is intended to store messages. A tiny string is attached to the parchment from a hook bolted inside the skull, as if to keep the parchment from accidentally falling out. Let's take it. You unhook the string and glance over the parchment. It looks like a reminder from one of the mortuary custodians. Judging from the note, the skeleton seems to be a walking messenger of sorts. As you take a second glance at the skeleton, you realize it is stopped in front of the slab because it can't figure out how to move past it. Running by all these people, very lax security. The numbers 613 are cut deeply into the forehead, but an inch of shredded leathery skin separates the 1 and the 3. Looking closely, you can barely make out the 2. Alright. $832. 310. It's starting to feel like a wild goose chase here. Did we go up through here yet? Oh shit, one of the dustmen caught us. Are we lost? No. If you are not lost, what is your business here? I'm here to see someone. Who are you here to see? I am here to see Dahl. Dahl is most likely in the receiving room on the 2nd floor. He is quite busy and not in the best of health. Unless you have pressing business, I would not disturb him. Very well, thanks for the information. Alright, well, that worked better than expected.
Alright.
Let's see. Was there a staircase leading down that we had access to? We want to get to that 1st floor. Oh, yeah, probably this, right? Yeah, because we got that key that we found. Alright, this zombie has a tome filled with diagrams and charts detailing various aspects of the necromantic arts. The book itself is extremely heavy. As awkward as the zombie is, it must be extremely strong. So we're starting to drop shit on the ground because our inventory is full. So let's put some of these things into Morte's inventory.
I'm gone.
Somehow a floating skull has the ability to carry things.
Done.
This guy has a name, Suego. Let's talk to him. You see a tired-looking man in a black robe. His narrow face is extremely pale, and he doesn't look as if he's been sleeping. His shoulders are slumped, and the flesh sags loosely beneath his bloodshot eyes. He looks so lost in thought that he doesn't even notice you.
Journal.
Greetings. The man turns to face you and makes a slight bow. You suddenly notice that his eyes aren't bloodshot so much as they have a red tinge to them. I am Suego. How may I... He suddenly seems to notice your scars, and the corner of his mouth twitches. I'm sorry, Sirrah, are you lost? No. I do not recall admitting you. Suego looks at you suspiciously. His eyes gleam red in the light of the torches. May I ask what you are doing here? I'm here to see someone. Suego nods. Who are you here to see? I would be more than happy to direct you. I am here to see Dahl. Dahl? Dahl the Scrivener can be found in the receiving room on the upper floor. The corner of Suego's mouth twitches briefly. He is rather busy and his health is failing. Unless you have pressing business, I would not disturb him. Very well, I will keep my visit with him brief. Suego nods and his mouth twitches again. He doesn't even seem to be aware of it. Return when you have paid your respects, and I will unlock the front gate for you. It is after 9 bells, so you'll have to leave as soon as you conclude your business. Alright, so we're good. Oh shit, that's a Dustman guard. He's like chasing us down and shit. Alright, there we go. We made it. Okay, here we go. You see a strikingly beautiful ghostly form before you. Her arms are crossed and her eyes are closed. She has long flowing hair and her gown seems stirred by some ethereal breeze. As you watch, she stirs slightly and her eyes flicker. Let's wait.
You. What is it that brings you here? Have you come to see firsthand the misery you have wrought? Perhaps in death I still hold some shred of use for you. My love.
Okay, well she's calling us my love. Do I know you? The spirit makes a begging motion with her hands. How can it be that the thieves of the mind continue to steal my name from your memory? Do you not remember me, my love? The ghost stretches out her arms. Think. Her voice becomes desperate again. The name, Dianara, must evoke some memory from within you. We could lie and be like, yeah, sure, let's do that. Yeah, sure, we remember. Yes, she seems hopeful. What memories does my name evoke? I am not certain, but I do feel the stirrings of memory as we speak. Tell me more. Perhaps your words shall chase the shadows from my mind, Dianara. Oh, at last the fates show mercy. Even death cannot chase me from your mind, my love. Do you not see? Your memories shall return. Tell me how I can help you, and I shall. Do you know who I am? You are one both blessed and cursed, my love, and you are one who is never far from my thoughts and heart. Blessed and cursed, what do you mean? The nature of your curse should be apparent, my love. Look at you. She points at you. Death rejects you. Your memories have abandoned you. Do you not pause and wonder why? I'm still trying to get my bearings, actually. What else can you tell me about myself? I know that you once claimed you loved me, and that you would love me until death claimed us both. I believed that, never knowing the truth of who you were, what you were. And what am I? I cannot. She suddenly freezes, and she speaks again, slowly, carefully, as if her voice frightens her. The truth is this. You are one who dies many deaths. These deaths have given you the knowing of all things mortal, and in your hand lies the spark of life and death. Those that die near you can carry a trace of themselves that you can bring forth. As Dianara speaks these words, a crawling sensation walks up the back of your skull. You suddenly feel compelled to look at your hand. As you lift it up and look at it, you can see the blood coursing sluggishly through your arm, pouring into your muscles, and in turn giving strength to your bones.
Updated my journal.
And you know Dianara is right. You suddenly remember how to coax the dimmest spark of life from a body and bring it forth. The thought both horrifies you and intrigues you. We've remembered how to raise others from the dead. To access this ability, okay. We can only use this on party members that have died in our presence. That's pretty sweet. I need to escape this place. Can you help me? As you are about to ask Dianara the question, it catches in your throat. It occurs to you that if you tell her you are looking for an escape route, she may feel you are abandoning her. If you are going to ask her how to leave, you'll need to be delicate about it. Dianara, I am in danger. Can you guide me to a place of safety? I shall return as soon as I can to speak to you again. In danger? Dianara looks concerned. Of course, my love. I will aid you in any way I can. She closes her eyes for a moment, and you watch an ethereal zephyr pass through her body, stirring her hair. After a moment, the zephyr dies, and her eyes open slowly. Perhaps there is a way, yes? I sense that this place holds many doors shrouded from mortal eyes. Perhaps you could use one of these portals as a means of escape. Portals? Portals are holes in existence, leading to destinations in the inner and outer planes. If you could find the proper key, you could escape through one of them. Key? Dianara pauses for a moment, as if attempting to remember. Portals will reveal themselves when you have the proper key. Unfortunately, these keys can be almost anything. An emotion, a piece of wood, a dagger of silvered glass, a scrap of cloth, a tune you hum to yourself. I fear that the dustmen are the only ones who would know the keys you could use to leave their halls, my love. Who are you? Okay, we've talked to her already, yeah. Done that one. Okay. Let's say bye. Hold a moment. I learned so much when I traveled with you, my love. And what you have lost I have retained. I have not divulged all that I know to you. My sight is clear, whilst you fumble in the darkness for the spark of thought. And what is it that your sight sees that I do not? Time itself relaxes its hold as the chill of oblivion slowly claims us, my love. Glimpses of things yet to come swarm across my vision. I see you, my love. I see you as you are now, and... Dionara grows quiet. What is it? What do you see? I see what lies ahead for you. It ripples through the plains, stemming outwards from this point. Shall I speak what I see? Tell me. First, I will require a promise. Promise you will return, that you will find some means to save me or join me. Do we want to make a vow? Let's do it. I swear I'll find some means to save you or join you.
I see, my love, unfettered by the shackles of time. You shall meet enemies 3, but none more dangerous than yourself in your full glory. They are shades of evil, of good, and of neutrality, given life and twisted by the laws of the plains. You shall come to a prison built of regrets and sorrow, where the shadows themselves have gone mad. There you will be asked to make a terrible sacrifice, my love. For the matter to be laid to rest, you must destroy that which keeps you alive, and be immortal no longer.
Destroy what keeps me alive?
I know that you must die, while you still can. The circle must come to a close, my love. You were not meant for this life. You must find that which was taken from you and travel beyond, into the lands of the dead.
Die while I still can.
Updated my journal.
I do not doubt your ability to rise from the dead. I do believe that every incarnation weakens your thoughts and memories. You claim you have lost your memory. Perhaps it is a side effect of countless deaths. If so, what more will you lose in successive deaths? If you lose your mind, you will not even know enough to realize that you cannot die. You shall truly be doomed. Countless deaths? How long has this been going on? I do not truly know, except that it has gone on long enough.
I shall wait for you in death's halls, my love.
She smiles, but there is only sadness in it. She closes her eyes, and with an ethereal whisper, she fades. Morte says, "You back with me, Chief? You kind of drifted out there." "No, I'm fine. Do you know who that spirit was?" "Eh, spirit?" "The specter I was talking to, the woman." "You were rattling your bone box with some woman? Where?" Morty looks around excited. "What does she look like?" "She was right on top of the bier. Did you not see her?" No, you just kind of drifted out for a bit there. Just stood there, statue-like. I was a little worried you gone addled on me again." Alright. So we can either have this guy unlock the door for us, or we can take a portal. But either way, I think that's a pretty good leaving off point for now.